Welcome back to the Season 3 World Championship here in Los Angeles, California. Right now, I'm happy to be joined by Kobe, Monte Cristo, EG's Crepo, and CLG's Doublelift here at the Analyst desk. And we have much to talk about now. So let's take a look at Group B standings after their first 3 games. Gambit and Ozone are at the top of their standings after starting off Worlds with wins, while Vulcan is in third at 1-1.
While the 2 teams who have yet to take a Nexus here in Group B, Fnatic and Mineski, are sitting at the bottom of the standings.
All right, gentlemen, so let's discuss the first game of this group. It's going to be Vulcan versus Fnatic. Now, coming out of this team comp, Monty, it's just, what were you feeling?
I'm sorry.
The Ori, Vi, Corki coming in on Fnatic side as well as Sona, Elise, Lissandra.
He's asking you about the
You see, I already blocked it from my memory. It's damaging my my predictions, but no, we went over this a little bit, but the Yorick pick was just, it was not well thought out, I think, by Fnatic. And like Crepo was saying earlier, almost anything would have been better in that composition. And it looked like a kind of panic maneuver in that they had that last pick and they could have gone with anything. And Yorick really brought nothing else to the other champions on the board.
And Doublelift, you kind of felt that the composition lacked damage almost on both sides.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was, again, in the favor of Fnatic, or sorry, Vulcan, because they had Nasus against a team comp with not a lot of threats, and they had Yorick, Caitlyn as their combo. And if you just wither Caitlyn, she's completely useless, especially because she didn't go cleanse. I was so confused. Like, why don't you go cleanse against Nasus? Just, like, mind blown.
So we see a lot of things happening throughout this game. But Crepo, one thing that caught your eye, you kind of brought up, was the brush used by Fnatic in this game.
Oh, yeah. Good that you remember that one. Basically, you never count Fnatic out because they can always pull what we call a Fnatic, which basically means that they start hiding in the Fnatic brushes. It's basically one of the first brushes you meet in any lane. They will hide there with 5 people, wait until the lane pushes in, and then they will randomly appear with 4 people. Who does that? Only Fnatic. Up to the point where when we're playing any tournament matches, like qualifiers, playoffs, we'll just say, guys, let's do a Fnatic. And snap. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Like, yeah.
So I saw Froggen's tweet about that. That was pretty funny. But do they use that over and over? Because now we know what bush it is.
It's a signature move. You could even see we once played against them. We didn't know where they were, so we pinged 3 brushes on the map, so you could see that. Once we watched the replay, like, and we just isolate them. They're not here. They're not here. They're there. And we found them eventually.
And Kobe, being a jungler at heart, your eyes are usually on that mid lane, and that's where it was for this game. What were your thoughts?
I mean, ManCloud, he really came up big. He was 8-1-4 with 15.6k gold versus Xpeke there 0-3-3. So not only did he get a nice lead, but also the Orianna for this composition felt like it was a linchpin. Like, that would really brought it all together. I know you guys were loving that last pick because the shield and all the utility that she brings to this already very stable composition that Vulcan were running.
It deals really well with the issues people were highlighting where Vi gets kind of screwed over if she ultis Lissandra, but Orianna just pulls that all together. If Vi goes in and doesn't hit the ulti mark, the Orianna ball follow-up just makes it perfect.
You know, picks aside, I just want to point out that Cloud is like, he's a blood-hungry beast. There's a reason he led the NALCS in kills this last split, and it's because like he goes for the kills, and he's like a big playmaker. He knows how to carry, and that guy, he's been blood-hungry these last 2 games as well that he's played.
And we see actually going into the next game now, Gambit versus Mineski. Ori was banned out in this one, and in the next game she actually wasn't pick or chose, so 100% is gone. Fun little fact there. But within this game, Gambit versus Mineski, I think a lot of people had their eyes on Gambit, and Crepo, you felt like it was a little bit of a mismatch coming into the game.
Yeah, Gambit kind of outclassed. I'm watching the game, we were just making all jokes aside to Mono. I was like, yeah, this is a push comp, a fast push comp, a pick comp, a split push comp. And it just did everything because Mineski had no answer.
Gambit were literally doing whatever they wanted on the board was what we were talking about here. They were literally taking a tower while taking a dragon, and then people were moving towards Baron at the same time. It was ridiculous.
Imani, for you, is just a little bit about that individual play.
Well, I mean, for me, it was the comps really. Again, I mean, that's tends to be what I focus on. But like when you have the kind of composition that was Mineski was running all in Fiddle, Nocturne, Diana, Zac, you have to be a very well coordinated team to pull that off. Because if everybody doesn't hit at the same time, then you're going to get kited and die. And not to mention Gambit's composition. You're going to be ulting into a Renekton, which is a favor because he gets a full channel ult off. And they have the Sona to counter-initiate as well. It's pretty sticky if you want to go in there.
Yeah, and they also, the crescendo, that would really make everything turn bad. What I was hoping they would do, Mineski, with that comp was turn off the lights with Nocturne and just have Diana Zac dive somebody while they were split up. But yeah, they never even got the chance to pull that off.
So another game played out, and now on to our third game, the one we just had a chance to watch. That's going to be Ozone versus Vulcan. Vulcan again getting themselves out into that early lead, but Ozone just being able to do what they do. Crepo, you were saying
yeah, well, Vulcan
all about
actually,
Looper.
Yeah. Vulcan actually really impressed me, and again, I actually underestimated him coming in, and I hate to point Doublelift right for
I'm
once.
the best.
Just let's forget that. But even though
I think we're winning now.
Any chance you can take.
even though they got that huge lead, in the end it didn't even matter. And you can just say that the big mid game was actually one big looper reel. All puns aside, that guy just played so legit.
Jeez, you just stack them on. There's no breathing time in between.
Freak wasn't here, so I had to cover. But like he played really well with Singed.
Ouch.
His TPs were on point, and at one point he just decided, oh, no, I'm not chasing you guys. I'm just gonna teleport ahead of you and catch you anyways. It was like a cross-map flash. He pretty much pulled out. He was playing really solid, especially since apparently it's one of his first competitive matches.
Yeah, I mean, that surprises me, too. Again, you know, I'm a caster in Korea, and I've never seen this guy play before. So to come in with a high-stakes situation, yeah, your first pro game, guess what? It's at Worlds. I mean, he really performed.
Out of all champions.
Yeah, so the unexpected factor for Ozone definitely came up big. Looper, you mentioned that teleport up to catch Mandatory Cloud. That was beautiful. But also, the things we expected them to do well, did well. We had the bottom lane just crushing Zuna there. That was harsh.
It was brutal.
Imp and Mata really came up big. Mata, even in the end game, landing those hooks mid-game to pick up the kills, turned it around for them.
Oh my god, like Samsung Galaxy Ozone's bot lane is just so good. They outclassed pretty much every team in their group, especially like Vulcan, whose bot lane has been shaky around the split. I definitely saw them make like a huge mistake at level 1 and allow them to come back from pushing deficit. And then I just saw Imp and Mata play essentially perfectly, how like gods would play that lane. They crushed that lane. They carried the game. I felt like Cloud really shut down Dade, but then the rest of the map was able to pull together.
All right, and Mani, you focus on the jungle quite a bit, and your matchup for Dade and Xmithy was one to really watch there.
Yeah,
the results show what happened.
Yeah, I've got some stats for Doublelift here. I'd actually love to see what he thinks about him. So Dandy, 3-1-17. It's 20 kills out of 22 kills on the team, so a 90% contribution rate. Xmithy, 1-6-4.
What? You can't compare when a team loses. That's not fair. That's not fair. The thing
But
is,
stats don't lie.
that's true. Stats don't lie. Whatever, dude. I still think Xmithy played an okay game. Minus getting caught that one time. All right, maybe you're right, dude. Oh, I'm so sad right now.
It's okay. Dandy Light will come back next game.
Okay, I'm ready.
So what would have been in Vulcan's chance to come back for that one? What did they need to stop?
They needed to stop Imp from getting snowballed on Caitlyn because Vulcan's team comp had no way to deal with Caitlyn. They had Ari, who's not going to get to Caitlyn. They had Shen, who's not going to get to Caitlyn. The only thing they had was Vi.
They should not just push in that wave level 1. For people that don't remember, they came first to lane, and initial response when bot laners come first to lane is to shove the wave to get the control. But they shoved it so quick that actually none of their minions died on their wave. So when Imp arrived on his lane really late, he just took 6 minions under the tower. The wave reset right in front of him, and Doublelift called it. It was like, this lane is done, and literally it happened. 20 CS up instantly.
And another thing that happened that was interesting, too, was it took a long time, 15, 16 minutes, for the first tower to go down in that game. And even though we saw Vulcan taking those dragons and getting the kills and getting that gold lead, we simultaneously saw top and bottom lane chipping down the towers of Vulcan in favor of Ozone with the dirty farming from Singed, as well as Caitlyn just taking chunks out of it little by little. So when both towers went down, that was a pretty big gold swing that you had to account for, and it wasn't entirely obvious was coming up.
You know how much balls you have to get in your first tournament match as Looper? Just the first tournament match you've ever been in. You're in Worlds and you're playing against Vulcan, and then like you'll just proxy as Singed against Shen. Like, this guy he's a very aggressive playmaking player. I can already tell because this guy, who's going to proxy in Worlds? That's just too crazy for me.
At least he waited past level 1.
Yeah,
he didn't have any of that real early start.
All right, guys. So we got the games analyzed. You've heard what they have to say. Now we want to hear what you had to say earlier. It's time to find out which teams you thought were the most buff in Group B. And the question was, who do you think is the strongest team in Group B and why? And here's what you guys had to say. At Skigs93 says, Gambit is the strongest team. Their experience and ability to throw something new out there will carry them through. Actually, Mani, You have anything to say?
I just agree with that. That's my.
Yeah.
I think it's so hard to count out Gambit, so I'm not willing to.
Well, they were your dark horse. They were your pick, so I had to give it to you. Tay Swizzy, staying fresh, says, my money is on Vulcan. Too many people underestimate the carry potential of ManCloud. What do you think?
ManCloud's a beast. I gotta say, I love the way that he plays and the way that he carries, and just the way that he always smashes his lane. It seems, but is this for the team to make it out of the groups on top, like #1? Because I don't think Vulcan's gonna make it out #1, but I think they're a good team. You know, NA Pride.
That's strong group of B.
Yeah, we also have to point out there, Mandatory Cloud, he went aggressive on Dade because he saw the jungle pressure bottom. So jungle pressure bottom, kind of why their bottom lane lost, but also why Mandatory Cloud won mid.
All about that awareness. Ray Murphy 14 says, Ozone is the strongest team. The combination of Dandy with his beastly bot lane will be devastating for any team. How do you feel about that bot lane, Crepo?
It was really amazing. I just don't think this guy had ever seen Looper. Because else he would be in that tweet.
All right, moving on. Mike the HUD says, Mineski is very strong. They're rather unknown, and I think they can pull off some surprises like TPA did in Season 2. And actually, he put the words in my mouth there, Kobe. Like people said about TPA. Reginald was saying earlier in the interview, they came out of nowhere and took first.
If they are going to surprise us, it should be in the next game then.
All right, so congratulations to the winners of the Logitech Gaming Mice. Those were some great tweets.
Keep hitting us up with your OP Group B teams. We're at LOL Esports, and remember to use the hashtag Worlds.
And hurry up to get those tweets in, because after our next 2 matches, your pick doesn't really count as being that's not that word anymore. If you're right. Up first at Southeast Asia's Mineski taking on European champs Fnatic. And in today's finale, it's the 2 undefeated teams in Group B, Gambit versus Ozone. All right, let's check out how you guys did in predicting the winners of the first 3 games of Group B. You're going to be put on the spot here. At the top of the standing, it's the Casters and Doublelift at 7-1, thanks to their Vulcan over Fnatic pick. In third place, it's Monte Cristo and Crepo at 6-2.
Because of Yorick.
Sitting at the bottom.
It was the Yorick. It was the Yorick.
I have to say, I love you, Doublelift.
Get dumpstered, guys. Just get dumpstered. Like, where's that innate pride?
Yep.
You guys are both white. Actually, you're from Europe, so it doesn't. And you're basically Korean, so like I'm the only one who's really American here.
And you guys, you're leaving the viewers in the dust here. Picks have to be better. We got 2 more matches left today. Let's see if you guys can end the day on a winning streak. But that's totally up to you. First up, it's Mineski taking on Fnatic. How do you guys see this game playing out? Monty, shoot.
Well, especially after seeing Mineski's performance against Gambit. Got to take Fnatic here. I think Fnatic will return to form a little bit. They may have needed a bit of a wake-up call, but they'll be back.
Zubble, what are you feeling?
Fnatic as well. Mineski doesn't seem to be the new TPA, though maybe they're just doing the whole like bait and switch where they don't seem that good, but my money's on Fnatic as well.
Yeah.
Moving around.
I mean, I think that we've already seen the weakness of Mineski. If Fnatic were watching that game, they'll go with the split pushing, team fighting, picking composition.
There's no way around it. Like Mineski just made too many mistakes that one game. I think Fnatic, if their mistakes, if any, were mostly in the pick and drop phase. So I don't think Fnatic is going to drop it.
We've actually seen a lot of just wide eyes in the pick and draw phase for some of these games. So a lot can be decided from that. Our last game of the day features Gambit and Ozone. Lift, take it away.
Even though, you guys are on the Gambit hype train, I'm on the anti-hype train. Ozone all the way.
Fair enough.
I got to agree, especially after seeing that bottom lane already. I'm going to have to tack on my vote with Ozone.
It's really going to be interesting to see how Impemata lane up against Genja and Voidal, who haven't been together that long. It's going to be dirty, I think. I think Ozone is really going to do really, really well.
Yeah, and I agree with Ozone as well. And we saw what damage their bottom lane can do, especially if they get Thresh. We typically see Thresh banned against Mata for that reason, but they decided to take out Lee Sin and try and hamstring Dade, which forced Dade onto a champion I haven't seen him play in a while, Rise. But Gambit's got the work cut out for him. Ozone for me.
All right, guys. Gone around the horn. Picks are in. Make sure you get your picks in. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, the Philippines Mineski takes on European champs Fnatic. Don't go anywhere because the group stage of Season 3 World Championship, we'll be right back.